just out of curiosity, and so that the ambassador can understand a bit better the audience that he's speaking to, how many of you here today speak Spanish? I think we could. Quizás podemos hacer la conferencia en español, si no le importa. That's remarkable. We will continue in English because I noticed that there were a couple of hands that didn't go up, but that is a remarkable demonstration of the love of the Spanish language that is here on this campus. How many of you have some contact with Guatemala? Wonderful. How many of you served missions in Guatemala? A few. And do we have any of our distinguished students who are from Guatemala who are here with us today? That is great. We extend to you a special welcome. We are delighted to be able to share with you His Excellency Francisco Villagrán de León. All ambassadors become ambassadors because they are distinguished and because they have achieved remarkable things in their lives. Ambassador Villagrán, I think, is an especially good example of that. He has served at the Guatemalan Embassy in Washington for the last 2 years, but this is his 6th ambassadorial appointment. In addition to his current assignment at the embassy in Washington, he has been the Guatemalan ambassador at the Organization of American States, at the United Nations, in Canada, in Germany, and in Norway. And so has had a vast international experience in representing his country with what I think you will see is great skill, great eloquence, great understanding of not only his country, but of the context in which his country operates. In addition to his international diplomatic work, he has had a significant role in working on domestic issues over the last couple of decades, in particular involving the peace process during a couple of particularly troubled decades in Guatemalan history. And so brings to us great professional and personal perspectives on his country and on the international climate. He was educated at the University of Rafael Landivar in Guatemala City, where he earned a law degree, and then subsequently studied at Georgetown University in Washington, where he earned a graduate degree in international relations. He is married. We're disappointed that his wife wasn't able to be with us on this trip, but we look forward to his wife Donna being with us on another occasion, and they have a 15-year-old daughter, Ana Beatriz, whom we're also looking forward to welcoming on another occasion. Mr. Ambassador, it's a pleasure and an honor for us to have you with us today, and we are anxious to be taught by you.
Well, thank you, Dean Rosenberg, for your kind words. I want to thank Dr. Erland Peterson and Dean Rosenberg for inviting me to come to Brigham Young University. I've been wanting to come here for a long time, and I'm very glad I finally have an opportunity. You have a wonderful place. The surroundings are just impressive. I had no idea that the mountains were right here, right next to you. I hope you're all hikers. And if you go to Guatemala, I hope that you get to hike there too. This is my first visit to this part of Utah, to Salt Lake and Provo. I had been to southern Utah a few years ago. I went to Zion and Bryce, and I wasn't sure whether that really counted before I came to Brigham Young University. So now I think I can say with full confidence that I have been to Utah and that I've been here. And it's a real pleasure. And I appreciate having this opportunity to tell you a little bit about Guatemala. I know that there is a strong connection between Utah and Guatemala, between this university and Guatemala and between the church and Guatemala, and we appreciate those links, and we want them to continue. We want them to be stronger. We want you, all of you, in Guatemala at some point. I know that many of you are familiar with Guatemala. I heard that, or I saw that most of you speak Spanish, but I'm still going to make the effort of delivering this talk in English. But I will tell you first just a few words about Guatemala, and then get into some aspects of our political life, of our economy, of our trade relations with the United States. Guatemala is a small country with impressive natural beauty and a strong and diverse culture that stems from the great Maya civilization and from 300 years of Spanish colonial rule. As many of you know, independence from Spain took place in 1821, at a time when Guatemala was the seat of the colonial administration that encompassed all of Central America, from what is now southern Mexico down to Costa Rica. Indeed, the 5 countries of Central America, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica, became independent together and established a federation that lasted for less than 2 decades. And it is precisely that background that underlies the region's aspirations towards integration today, and I will speak more about that a little later. Physically, Guatemala is a stunningly beautiful country, or that's what we like to think, of course. And it's very close to the U.S. It's only 2.5 hours away from Miami or Dallas. Tourists come from around the world to see our 33 volcanoes. 3 of them are still active. And we have abundant water resources. We have several lakes, including a spectacular lake, Lake Atitlan, a large lake in the central highlands, which is surrounded by 3 volcanoes. British writer Aldous Huxley described this lake as the most beautiful lake in the world, so we like to say that. We take pride in what Aldous Huxley had to say about Guatemala and Lake Atitlan. And we have many archaeological sites, including Tikal, one of the ancient Maya's most important cities, and new, even larger sites have been discovered in recent years and are currently being excavated. We have the city of Antigua, our country's colonial capital, and now a protected UNESCO World Heritage Site. We have coasts on both oceans.